What is going on, guys? So today we do have chapter 1036 of One Piece, which has finally come out after Christmas. It is named Bushido is the Way of Death, which is apparently a reference to Hagakure, which would be a guide to being a warrior. I don't know, some kind of Japanese thing, maybe. I do apologize if my voice sounds a little raspy, because I am kind of sick. So that is the situation on that. Interesting chapter. So thankfully, like I thought, the battle between Zoro and King is over, which I do find pretty bizarre. You know, that Sanji versus Queen and King versus Zoro was started and finished over the course of 2 chapters. But I'm quite happy that that is the case at this point because, like I've said a million times, I do want Wano to finally come to an end, please. We do find an interesting dialogue between Kaido and King, where I guess King believes that Kaido is Joy Boy. I mean, I guess that makes sense to an extent just on its face because, you know, Kaido is one of the most prominent people in the world. He is more likely to change the world than the vast majority of people, and it seems like Joy Boy is supposed to do something to that effect. And on top of that, King does have his Lunarian heritage, so they might have more information about like prophecies or things like that in the One Piece world, so definitely makes sense, and it's kind of cool. And just the mention of Joy Boy, you know, the fact that someone else is familiar with Joy Boy or the prophecy of Joy Boy, whatever it may be. It's cool to see that coming up. It's kind of been a while since I've heard that, so I was happy to see that. We get a little flashback of King and Zoro both saying to their captain that they're never going to lose. As could be expected, Zoro is the only one that holds that promise. And then he says that he'll become the King of Hell, you know, if that's what it takes. On top of that, we do see some Conquerors hockey looking stuff going on, which is pretty cool. So, pretty pleased with that. We get an official Victor Zoro moment. Always like those. Then we kind of get some shit talk from CP0. Basically, you know, they're, oh my god, the All-Stars and the Flying Six were both defeated. Oh, how could this happen? But really, you know, the Yonko are still standing, and that's all that matters. They still have no chance, which I think is kind of ridiculous. I mean, you know, with the way One Piece does power scale, it does make a fair amount of sense. You know, like, any Yonko is going to be able to solo all of their command. Well, that's not true. But at least in the case of Big Mom or Kaido, they're easily going to be able to solo their own Yonko commanders. So I can see how them being standing diminishes the effect of having lost the All-Stars and the Flying Six. But, I mean, to say that it's basically null seems a little outrageous to me, especially considering the people who are up against those Yonko. I mean, we have Luffy into Kaido, and Luffy's basically been shown to be just going even with him. So we have that going on. And then we have Law and Kid against Big Mom, who apparently have both awakened their devil fruits now. So, and again, they seem to be doing an all right job. So, I don't know. It seems a little ridiculous, but that's okay. And also, it seems quite clear to me that they are going to win. Not that I was ever really worried about that, but it does seem fairly obvious at this point. We, you know, get a little recap on how Onigashima is heading towards the capital. Honestly, that's almost starting to piss me off. I feel like I have gotten about 10 to 15 reminders that Onigashima is on its way. I mean, I needed to be told, you know, just originally that it was happening, and then maybe like a chapter before it was about to go down, we could be like, oh, this is what's happening again. But no. 15 times? No, I really don't need to waste a page on that, like every other chapter, so I don't know why that keeps happening, but I guess it is what it is. We get a little shot of Momo just saying that he's going to do it. And then we have Yamato dealing with Kanjuro's bullshit. She has to get through a gate guarded by one of the numbers, and she kind of just has her boy ram through it. So that is what it is, I guess. Then we actually have a kind of cool moment with Usopp. I was pretty surprised to have a decent moment like this from Usopp. We have Kinemon and Kiku basically fighting over who gets to commit seppuku. Kind of. It's not really seppuku, but they're both just saying, "Oh, abandon me. You go on all this shit." And Usopp's kind of not pissed off about it, but he just expresses his disagreement with the idea. He says, you should do whatever you can to cling to life, even if it is in disgrace, because otherwise it would be a waste, which I think is actually really good. And Kinemon and Kiku, both based on their faces, seem to agree with that. So I thought that was actually a really cool moment. Kind of surprised me. Izo does come back into the picture, which is fun. And Kiku, of course, is really excited about that. Izo does take his, well, at least the top of his kimono off. And he's pretty jacked, as you'd expect. And you also see the white beard tattoo. So that was pretty cool. Did like seeing Izo for sure. You get some bullshit with Raizo, and then you get some bullshit with the Orochi, both of which situations I really have no interest in. A little bit of a poo causing some havoc, and CP0 showing a little bit of respect for that. And talking about Robin, haven't quite captured her. Things have come up. And then they're kind of just saying, again, the odds of the new gen, basically the Alliance and Kid, pulling this off is 1,000,000 to 1. Again, seems a little extreme, seems a little hyperbolic of a probability, but okay, I guess. But yeah, then, they do say if this was to go down, if they really were to pull off this upset, it would just exacerbate all the crazy shit already going on in the world. So, that is what's going to happen. So I'm definitely excited to see that. They're calling it the fate of an era is going to be decided, right? That sounds pretty cool. I do want to see that 100%. And then we finally get back to Luffy and Kaido. We get some hits in between the two of them. Again, really, I mean, there's some back and forth for sure, but it appears to me that Luffy is getting the better end of the fight already. So, like I said, it just seems a little ridiculous to me that it's 1,000,000 to 1. But okay, and then we get this is getting good. That's the same thing I was thinking. Okay, so that's the chapter. Overall, not too bad. Definitely better than most chapters in Wano, so that's cool. And I'm really happy with the end here. I'm happy that we are going back to Kaido and Luffy. There's really not much else that should be going on besides that. I mean, we do have the shit that Yamato and Momo are dealing with. So that's going to take some time, but it really shouldn't be too much based on what they're doing. We really should be getting mostly Luffy versus Kaido shit. Hopefully that won't be too bad. We do, of course, have Big Mom versus Law and Kid as well, but that's also something I'm happy to see. That's something actually pretty cool. So hopefully we're going to basically be seeing the worst gen versus the Yonkos for the rest of, or at least the majority of the rest of Wano. And it looks like that might actually be something we can rely on. Unfortunately, from what I've understood, based on what I've read, this chapter, we were supposed to be on break this week because of Christmas, but we got it released a week early. So really, this is supposed to be released next week, which means, well, I guess at least like on Friday or whatever. And then, so there's not going to be anything on Friday. And then that was supposed to be on break. So next Friday will also be nothing. And then the Friday after that, there will be a chapter. So we basically have like 20 days-ish, I think, until another chapter comes out, which is unfortunate, especially because, like I said, I think we're about to get into the full Luffy versus Kaido shit. So it is sad, but it is what it is. Wasn't a bad chapter. I'm looking forward to the future. But yeah, that basically wraps up everything I had to say in this video. If you did enjoy the video, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to leave a comment letting me know what you thought about the video, what you thought about the chapter. Definitely interested to hear what you guys think. I don't think it was that bad, so hopefully that's not a controversial take like people claim I like to make a lot. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.